So you're planning on sitting the MRCPsych paper B, but you don't know what resources to use, how much time you need to take, what it involves, and what can you do to pass? Have no fear, I've done the exam and I'm here to share 5 top tips for you. Paper B is one of the 2 theory exams by the Royal College of Psychiatrists. The other one is paper A, and then the OSCE is called the CASC. So all 3 are required to be a member of the Royal College. It's also compulsory for core trainees before progressing on to higher training. It's a 3-hour exam with 150 questions and it's worth 150 marks. So it's made up of only MCQs and EMIs, so those are extended matching questions. So a third of the exam is covering critical review and 2/3 covers clinical topics. In my opinion, it's much easier than the paper A, which I have done already, so make sure you subscribe to watch my tips for passing that. So the pass rate for the last exam that was done in November 2021 had a pass rate of around 45.6 and a trainee pass rate of 56%. So it's not that great really, so you better study for this exam, guys. So paper B can actually be done before paper A, and that's what I did. At the moment, I'm waiting for my results. So my first tip is to pay special attention to the critical review section of the exam. So a lot of doctors don't have experience with this, and it involves things like research methods, qualitative methods, quantitative, statistics, epidemiology. So these are kind of things that we're not usually taught much in medical school. I did a master's in global mental health, and we had modules on all these kind of things: health economics, statistics, epidemiology. So for me, honestly, it wasn't that hard. If you feel like this is something brand new to you, then please give it special attention, because it might be something you're learning for the first time and you want to make sure you get it all in your fingertips ready for the exam. At the same time, do not over concentrate on the critical review and forget everything else, because remember that 70% of the exam is going to be clinical topics. So make sure you give them enough time as well, because you don't want to be failing because you are reading so hard for the critical review that is so much more difficult maybe for you, and then you end up failing on easy things that you know day to day, like from the clinical topics. My second tip is to use question banks. So personally, I used SPMM, PsychMentor, and BMJOneExam. I know it's a bit excessive, but I am that kind of person who goes through everything, so I'm going to share what I thought about each of these. PsychMentor, I feel like, had the best layout. I really enjoyed studying using it. I like the way they are laid out. I love the notes that they give underneath. SPMM was also really good, but I loved especially their mocks because they somehow were more similar to the actual exam. And BMJOneExam, I feel like, was the worst. It was the cheapest. Actually, I got it for free from my university library. That didn't cost me at all, but I did not really love it that much. And also the topics really pretty much are similar across all of them. If I was to choose one, then I would just go for SPMM. If I had less resources, then I would do PsychMentor, and then closer to the exam, I would pay for the SPMM mocks. That's exactly what I did actually. I did PsychMentor for the most part of my studying, and then about 1.5 months to the exam is when I paid for the mocks for the SPMM. My next tip is to use a study budget. So for KSS, which is Kent Surrey Sussex, for us they do cover our study resources. So if you want to get SPMM, PsychMentor, any of those, then they're covered by the study budget. What is not covered by the study budget for us is actually the exam cost. And yet I know someone in another trust where for them in their diary they actually pay for the exam but do not pay for the exam resources. So find out from your medical education department what exactly can they cover and make sure you claim for it, guys. Do not leave any money on the table. My next tip is to contact your library. Make sure you contact your library and see if there's anything they can offer you. So for me, it was a BMJOneExam that they were giving us for free. So make sure you find out. There could be something that you could get from them that can help you in your preparation for your exam. My next tip is to use study leave. So closer to the exam, you're going to need to be intensifying on your reading. And for us in KSS, we get 5 days of study leave, and that is minus the exam. This is a total of 6 days. So exactly 5 days to the exam, I got study leave, and so I'm studying every day, like doing so many questions, as many questions that I can closer to the exam. I feel like this intense study is really important, especially for things like the critical review, where there's going to be a lot of cram work. Some things make sense, some of them don't. You just have to cram it, and so the closer you are to the exam, the more likely you are to remember. My next tip is to use the college resources. So if you go to the Royal College of Psychiatrists, they do have some resources. They have their own sample questions. Make sure you go through all the sample questions, because first of all, I think these are high yield topics that also end up appearing in the exam again. They also have something called TRON, so that's trainee online. They have different modules for the different topics. They have little like lectures, they have videos, and also like PowerPoint presentations. Personally, I had a look for a few topics, but when I looked at the type of work that they were giving, the time that I had, and the type of studying that I'm used to, this just is not something that would work for me. So if you feel like you're that kind of person, then do consider them, especially if you're already a member, if you're already a trainee, and you have that PMT membership already. So in terms of time, I don't know how much time you're going to need, but for me, in my case, I used exactly 3 months to study for this exam. But please do bear in mind that, one, I do have a master's in a related field where I had done a lot of statistics, and so that entire 1/3 of the exam was really easy for me. Something else is that I had been studying for my paper A that was due in June 2020, and it was cancelled last minute, and you realize that there is some overlap in some of the topics. So I'd been studying for paper A, which was cancelled, so there was an overlap. I didn't have to restudy a lot, so that's why I ended up using 3 months, and it was enough for me. So you never know how much time you're going to need, guys, so take as much time as you need, and I wish you all the best, guys. Good luck. If you want to know why I chose psychiatry as a specialty, then watch this video next.